Hello， 云同桌们，大家好，我是月明，欢迎回来。今天的视频内容是第二课剩下的部分。第一个案例其实是在帮大家复习前面讲过的好几个重点，我们一起来过一遍，巩固一下。这里学员提出了疑问，就是我是来放松的呀，怎么还越释放越累了呢？很认真的问指导员，你之前见过这种情况吗？其实呢，关于这个问题和我释放的时候会大哭、会头疼、恶心等等这一类问题都是一样的，都是属于体感类的问题。包括在压抑与表达的那节课程里，有一位学员有严重的失眠，这些都属于体感。体感类的问题和其他问题都是一样的，去使用释放流程没有任何区别，都是还原内在情绪感受，然后走流程释放。那这个我在第一堂课的总结里面也说过。
Okay. Well, what's the feeling behind the question?
大家还记得在第一堂课里面，海尔在刚刚开始介绍释放法的时候就说，不论你问任何问题，我都会以问句来回答你，那就是这个问题背后的感觉是什么。虽然说这个视频一开始海尔会问大家有没有什么问题，但他不是真的要跟学员进行心智讨论啊，他是在鼓励学员表达出来，这样才有机会释放。顺便说说最常见的一些疑问，比如说我总是走神怎么办？我释放不到开心怎么办？我感觉自己释放的太慢了怎么办？释放的时候头脑一片空白怎么办？等等等等。如果让我来回答你，那么也是，你能感觉到你在表达这个疑惑时的情绪吗
？Sitting behind the question is just wanting to know why I'm feeling more tired than I would expect to feel just sitting here and relaxing in a nice soft chair all day.
Right. Okay, so there's a wanting to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Desire to have an answer.
Okay, that desire, was that an apathy, a fear, a lust, anger?
Well, it's probably, I guess, talking about fatigue, so it's probably coming out of the apathy area.
Well, it could be, but
or
just...
It could be lust, too.
Okay, well, which are you more in touch with, that lust to know or the apathy right now?
很多时候感受是由几种情绪综合而来的。记得上一节视频里面我讲的这个剥洋葱的例子，我们每一次都先释放更强烈、更明显的那个情绪。
All right, so just allow yourself to feel the lust feeling. Okay, could you let it go? Could you?
Yes, I could.
Would you?
Yes.
When?
Now.
All right, see if there's any more of that lust to know.
It's diminished.
It's diminished, but there's still some.
A little bit.
Okay. And could you just allow yourself to feel it? Okay. Could you let it go?
Yes.
Would you?
Mm-hmm.
When?
Now.
Okay, how does it feel now?
I don't feel quite as tired.
You don't feel quite as tired either. Walk you right up.
Feels better.
It feels better. Okay. Now, see, we did something there. Very often, when you ask a question, there's a feeling behind it. When you release the feeling, you'll start to get your own answer, and you actually kind of did. But I'll kind of point it out to you. It might not be that obvious. What happens sometimes when we're dealing with feelings, we get to a point we've released a bunch, and then we say, oh, that's enough, and we start pushing it back down. And that can be exhausting when you start to push the feelings back down. So all we did is we released twice on the lust, and you started to wake up. So that's a roundabout way of answering the question. But more importantly, if you're willing to release even on the wanting to know that's coming up as you're sitting here, you'll not only get your own answer, but you'll feel better. Okay?
Yeah.
Good.
I do feel a little more energy here.
Terrific. Okay, I would write that down in your games book.
Okay.
The thing that stands out most as a specific result is I used to be unhappy a lot before, and now I don't have to be unhappy anymore. It's the most wonderful thing. That is the most important specific result I have. It's just as I don't have to be depressed or feel bad or any of that. It's gone. It's just wonderful.
For those of you out there watching this tape, it must feel rather like I felt, just watching others going through releasing and listening to the information. And I didn't know if it was working for me, but it was. So I just know that it's working for you. Just your willingness to be here. There's a desire to change and to grow in all of us. And I just know that it's changing your life in a very profound way. It may be subtle and you may not notice it right now, but the benefits that I got from it have just been tremendous, and I hope that you gain so much more than I have.
I just want to let you know that you're all doing really great. I know some of you still might be worrying, am I getting it? Am I doing it right? Whatever you're experiencing so far is perfect. You'll see everyone takes to the method in their own way. They have their own style of applying it. They'll have their own style of using it. So no matter how you're using the method so far, just allow yourself to keep working with it, keep allowing it to unfold. And in order to support you in really making the method solidly your own, we have these 3 special area of interest workbooks. Now the workbooks, as we've mentioned several times already, are the most important part of these videotapes and also this class, because it's in the workbooks that you really make the method your own. It really helps you work through whole issues, really get to completion on many different topics. And what we did is we created 3 special area of interest workbooks for you to focus on 3 topics that most people can really relate to. And what they are is, the first one is your financial freedom. Now, how many people right now can't relate to financial freedom? All of us would like a little more of that. It seems to be something very popular in our whole country. The next one is your appearance, health, and well-being. Most of us are always concerned about how we look. First thing we do in the morning when we get into the bathroom, we stare in the mirror and go, oh my God. No matter how good we look, no one ever feels, in our society, no one ever feels like they look good enough. And of course, we always want to have good health. And then also, a very important issue for most of us is our relationships. And it's not just our relationships with our spouse or our significant other. We're having relationships all the time with everyone we meet. And that's often the cause of a lot of uncomfortable and stressful feelings in our lives, is our relationships. So what I'd like you to do is, for the whole tape series and this whole class, I'd like you to find, now you can work through all 3 of these books at your leisure. In fact, the more you apply yourself to all 3 of these workbooks, the better. But what I'd like you to do is select one particular workbook and make that your focus for the class. It could be any one of the 3, whichever one you decide to use. And what I'd like you to do is, I'll open up to in the first workbook, in the first section, I picked the one on financial freedom. I figure that's the one most people these days could relate to. And if you open it up, I want you everyone take out that book for a minute. The way you'll get the most out of this program is by releasing in this workbook, in the first section, section 1, and the first question here is, what is my now feeling about how much money I have? Now, I think everyone will have some feeling about how much money they have, no matter how much it is. And the thing is, when you start to release your feelings about money, just like any other topic, you'll start to see sometimes very dramatic results for 2 reasons. One is, first of all, these days, everyone's under a lot of stress and pressure about money. No matter how well they're doing, there's always that little nagging doubt. What's going to happen tomorrow? What if the economy changes again and I'm out of a job? Or my business doesn't do as well as it's doing right now? So working on releasing your feelings about money will help you deal with all the stress that's there just because of that whole money issue. Now, the other reason that you'll see a dramatic result as you release on money is that with money, very often, if you've noticed, there are 2 people in the exact same profession who perform very differently. even though they have the same training, the same background, what's the difference? Does anyone know what the difference is? It's their attitude. Now, everyone's probably heard that a positive mental attitude makes a tremendous difference. And most of us have tried different things to try to make ourselves think more positively. And if you ever try that, you realize it very often doesn't work. And why is that? It's very simple. When you're trying to think positively without letting go of those uncomfortable feelings, it's like putting good apples on top of a barrel full of rotten apples. What's eventually going to happen even to the good ones? They're going to rot. That's what happens with positive feelings, with positive programming or positive thinking when you're not letting go of the negative. So what we do here is we assume that underneath all those apples in the barrel, it's barrels made of gold. And if you're willing to dig out those rotten apples, all those uncomfortable feelings, you'll discover that gold within you. And you also start to see it in your life. So I highly encourage you to work in these special area of interest workbooks. And before you work in the next tape, or before you come back tomorrow morning, what I'd like you to do is just work through section 1. And then we'll let you know, Nikki or I will let you know when it's time to go on to section 2.
可能有不少人很关心特殊领域练习本的这个话题，毕竟一听到特殊领域这个词，小我就会很嗨，会觉得是不是这3个练习本能让我走走捷径啊，让我更快实现目标啊，贪求的情绪就出来了吧。开个玩笑啊，这个确实是已经失传的。而且说实话，如果有的话，我相信当年风作为第一个传播原始释放法的人，而且是在国外学习生活的人，应该是能够在网上找到的。那我的看法是，无需纠结有没有这3个所谓的特殊领域练习本，因为无非就是把大多数人最关心的3个话题，财务、外貌、情感，专门写出来了而已。但其实不论针对什么样的主题目标，方法和流程都是一样的。所以不存在说那3个练习本里面就有什么额外的独门秘籍，这不存在的。现有的练习本足以，就不需要想得太复杂。顺便提一下，因为在92年的时候，这个课程是莱斯特先生亲自创建的圣多纳释放法机构来发布的，课程内容和设计自然也是遵循于老先生原始的教导。但是呢，莱斯特先生在1994年去世之后，海尔解散了这个机构，另外成立了新的商业机构，对原始流程做了一定的更改，还额外发明了一些新的问法。所以呢，海尔自己成立的新机构有没有新的练习册，这个我就不知道了，也没有去了解过。不过我这里并不是吐槽他，因为他们的工作当然有他们的价值，至少也是由海尔等人的传播，才让全世界的人了解到释放法。只是说我个人的选择呢，是忠于莱斯特本人的原始释放法，毕竟 learn from the best.
So have a wonderful evening, and have a wonderful time using the method before we go to the next tape.
That's the end of session 2. The first 2 sessions are the hardest. It gets easier from this point on. Spend some time using the release technique before you start viewing session 3. You don't have to wait until a strong feeling comes up. Allow yourself to release even on little things. To release, all you need to do is become aware of your now feeling and then let it go. Allow it to release. You'll find that as you practice releasing on your own, you'll be able to go more and more to the releasing experience without the need to always ask the questions. Get into the habit of acknowledging and writing down your gains as they happen. The more you are willing to acknowledge the progress, the faster you'll move in your life, and the easier it'll be to have the release technique work for you. You are rediscovering an ability that has been dormant in you. We're all experts at suppressing and expressing feelings based on a lifetime of practice. And it will take practice to perfect this new and better way of releasing your feelings. This course and these materials are for your own use. Please encourage others to order their own video course, or at least have them view these tapes with their own set of workbooks. This material, used out of context, will not be helpful to others. Continue with your releasing. We'll see you tomorrow.